All right, welcome back. Live with Fives. This is our. That's right. I'm doing jazz hands. All right, this is our January wrap up. We're gonna change the format a little bit for next week, or for next month rather. We're probably gonna do one Facebook Live a week. That's what we're thinking about. Continue to provide you some high value content. So this is the wrap up. If you're out there right now, share, like, follow, whatever. Smash all those buttons. All right. So let's just get going. We've done a month. I think that's about 15 of these, give or take. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, I'm not going to come. But we did the Facebook Lives and provide the feedback we got was really good. So we wanted to recap today on all the stuff. So, we started with mindset, and this is the supercharging part of our plans when we work with business owners to really get them in the right mindset. Because I can give a bunch of tactics for any business, but unless their mindset's in the right place, the tactics only work partly. So we focus on two thoughts, right? Scarcity and abundance. And you can start to take a look at where you're at with scarcity and abundance. If you're in the scarcity mindset, you're talking about I'm not good enough, the world's against me, woe is me, I suck. And then that leads into your emotional state of maybe depression, anxiety, apathy. You start procrastinating. But really what you're doing is you're living in fear. And so what we work on really hard, really effectively, is to move people into this abundance mindset. I'm plenty. People will help me. It's a known fact that as human beings, 9 out of 10 people are predisposed to help the other person. That one out of 10 sociopath. Kidding. Well, I'm not kidding. All right. You understand that you have tremendous value, that you're doing, that you're intrinsically worthwhile. So we focus on this, and your emotional state gets into you're focused, you're driven, and you're motivated, right? So you can start to see the dichotomy between the two, and the state you're in is at peace. Now, I like to tell people when you're in peace, it doesn't mean easy, doesn't mean that life's a panacea, but it means that you can handle the challenges that come up. Okay? So we go from there, and then we talk about some tactics, right? So when you're in this side, the beautiful thing here, and you're in the abundance side, is that you get into ideation. You start to be able to think creatively, and that's what we want. We engage your subconscious. We are able to solve problems quicker and faster. When you're over here, you're in a state of worry, and you focus on the issue and the impact of the perceived impact of that issue. So let's talk about some of the tactics that we went over this month. So when you're growing your business, it's really important to know who you're selling to. And this is something that drives me insane. I've wrestled with this even for our own business. We've got that refined, but it's really defining that persona. And when we do this, we're doing two things. We're getting focused. So you'll understand that being focused on your business is a key thing. You can't be everywhere to all people. And if you ask yourself, who do I sell to? And you're like, it's everyone. Well, then it's no one, right? So you want to find niches of people to sell your products or services to. You want to know what their pain is, what their struggles are. What do they really want? Because the other trap that we fall into is we sell things that we think they want, or that we think in our own mind we have a solution for, when maybe it's not even part of their problem. So there's one question. I'm going to give you a tip today out of this. If you want to refine your offering and you really want to understand what your pain is, ask your audience one question. It could be in a group, it could be wherever. If I could provide one result for you, what would that result be? And they're going to tell you. And then that's what you focus on, because that result is going to address their pain, and they're going to lay it out for you. It's fantastic. And that drives us into point number 3 from the month, as we talked to us about focus. And focus comes in multiple directions. Focus on one offering, like especially if you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur, that one singular thing that you're good at and want to do, and refine it with that question. Okay, and people that are out there right now listening, if you want to refine that, ask this one question right in your Facebook, on your Facebook page. Your people will tell you. But it's also focused on measuring the outcomes of the tactics. So once you start selling, once you're cold calling, you're sending mailers out, you're doing social media blasts, you're doing networking events, you need to measure, be hyper-focused on the results you're getting. Because if you're not yielding the results from your activities, well, guess what? change out the activities? Do you use different tactics? All right, so we also spent some time on social media. For those of you just joining in, we're just recapping what we did this month on the information we gave. We're talking about mindset. We'll recap in a minute. Know who you're selling to, really coming into focus on your business. We talked a lot about social media throughout this, and one of the key concepts where social media becomes really valuable is to put you at the center of your network. So one of the tactics we talked about is going to networking events, getting the word out there, and you're going to other people's networking events. But the other concept is becoming the center of your network and bringing people to you. And there's tools like Meetup, Eventbrite, seminars, speaking, and things like that where you can be the center and pull those people in, and that's super powerful. We also talked about the do's and don'ts of social. We talked about Facebook and the changes in the algorithm. If you're around tonight, you want to come by, we're having a meetup here at the office, 257 East Market Street, 6:30, and we're going to really be focusing on the do's and don'ts of Facebook and how to get started and build you as the center of your network. So come by if you're around. We'll have some beverages, some snacks. It'll be a good time. I'll be here. Who doesn't want to see me? And Devin? They're all coming to see Devin. All right, so do's and don'ts of social media. First thing I always tell people, read the terms and conditions of Facebook. Be sure that you're comfortable with their terms and conditions before you start posting pictures and things and content out there, because as soon as you put it out there, Facebook owns it. Don't spam, that's a big one. Don't go into a group and just start selling your product, right? That you'll get banned from those groups. If you're joining groups, make sure you read the terms that those moderators set up so you're not violating them. No clickbaits. Don't tag people that are not in pictures. That'll get you banned immediately. And don't message non-friends on Facebook. Those are just some of the big things that will get you in trouble and into Facebook jail. We talked a lot about accountability. This was another thread that we went through, mentoring. And one of the things that you really want to talk about and think about is who you're surrounding yourself with. Because if you're not surrounding yourself with people better than you, then you're going to stay where you're at. Because we use the example of training and exercise and training for the Ironman and things like that. You always get and train with people that are better than you because they're going to push you. So if you're going to the bars and just hanging out with guys and girls that are not pushing you out of your comfort zone, start looking at who and what areas and what events that you can get associated with that are really going to push you in the way you think. And the way that's important is because it puts you over here. It keeps you in abundance. It keeps your ideation going and whatnot. So just a recap for those of you coming on live at 5. We're going to change it up a little bit next month. So we're going to do one a week. We'll let you know what the date and times of that. It's going to be the same time, same date every day. Maybe lunch or maybe in the evening. So if you have a comment on when you're most available, let us know. Put it in the comments. We'll get back to you. All right. So we're going to recap real quick. We talked about the first thing we really focused on was mindset, scarcity versus abundance. I'm not good enough, the world's against me, woe is me, those expletives are hate my guts and they're out to get me. Like, that's all over here in our thinking. And when we get in that, we get depressed, we have anxiety, we're apathetic, we procrastinate. There's a whole bunch of things. We play the victim, right? So this is one of my favorite things. You're the victim over here. I don't know if I spelled that right, but that's it. And over here, you're courageous, right? So you're taking control. You're empowered. This is empowerment. This is enablement. Think of it that way. And when you're in abundance, you're like, I'm plenty. I'm good enough. I got this. People will help me, right? And we talked about the 9 out of 10 people are predisposed to helping you. You just have to figure out how to ask them, how to enroll them in your journey, and that you have tremendous value. That the things that you do are valuable, and they are, because you're a human being. And that brings us into that, you're driven, you're focused, you're motivated, you're courageous, you're taking some risks, and you're living with the consequence of those because you know that you're learning all the time. And so we have enablement and empowerment, we have fear, 4-letter word, and we have peace. And when we talk about being at peace, it's not saying that things are easy. It means that you can manage them in your daily life. Now, why is this so important? I always start with this when we're doing things, because this is the supercharger for all of the business growth tactics that we teach as well. So we also talked about know who you're selling to, okay? That's one of the things that if you go out to networking events and you're like, well, who's your ideal customer? And someone says, oh, I don't know, it's everyone. Well, then it's no one, because you're not focused. And how do you message to everyone, right? Because we talk to men and women differently. We talk to different people in different organizations differently. You know, you talk to PhDs differently than you do truck drivers, as an example. And that's not good or bad. It's just the way it is. And your ability to relate and message what their needs are is what's paramount. And you can't decipher that if you're saying one message to everybody, because it won't resonate. So you define those personas. Know what their pain is, okay? Because what we want to sell and what their pain, if we sell what we want to sell and it doesn't align with what their needs are, well, then you're not going to sell anything. So, giving you a tip today. Tip for the day is this: if you want to refine your offering, just go out to your Facebook page right now and type this one question in. If I can provide one result for you, what would that result be? Okay, so we did this not so long ago. Some of you may have seen the survey we put out. We actually SurveyMonkey and did that. It's real easy to do. And we got it back. It's client focused. People want more client, more revenue. Well, that's what we do. So that's the messaging that we're focused on, right? Because that's what resonates with the group of people that we want to do. All right. So focus is the other thread that's gone through the entire month. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, starting up, focus on one key offering, so that you understand exactly all your energy is going into one thing, and you're perfecting it, and you're becoming an expert, and the messaging and everything flows from that level of focus. Focus on measuring outcomes of your activities. All the things that you're doing, are they working? As human beings, we tend to convince ourselves, well, I made that decision to go to these networking events, and I'm going to keep doing them because I made that decision. But when you measure it and you take that emotion out of it, you can say, well, this networking event's not producing anything, so I'm going to go to a different networking event. And that's where the ideation is. And you get that when you're over on the side of abundance. And then we also did talk about setting goals and how to do those. And all right, we also talked a lot about social media. That was another thread throughout the month. We talked how to leverage social media to be at the center of your network. So, if you're around tonight and want to learn more about that, we're having a meetup, 257 East Market. Stop by, 6:30, have some snacks, some brewskis, maybe some wine, I don't know. Stop by, find out, maybe lemonade, some hot tea. I don't know, we'll see how the weather is. It's pretty sunny out there today, so. But that's important. We talk about speaking events and how do you draw people leveraging social media into your sphere where you're the hub, right? Because that's super powerful. The do's and don'ts of, of social media. Always recommend everybody reads the terms and conditions for Facebook, so that you know what you post, what you're losing your rights to when you post that. So if you post a picture of your daughter and you see her in 2 years in Sun magazine because Facebook sold that picture off, you understand why. No spamming, no clickbaits. We talked about don't tag people that are not in the pictures, because that's a huge one. And don't message non-friends. And when we say no spam, I want to define that a little bit further, because if you go into another group and you start being like, hey, here's my offering, here's my service, here's what I do, buy from me, that'll get you banned, and that's considered spamming. And all these in the algorithm will get you banned from Facebook, put you in Facebook jail. Okay. Accountability is another thing. Accountability and focus come together, because that's how you're going to manage your success. Get an accountability partner, get a coach. There's life coaches, there's mentors, there's business coaches, there's mindset coaches. I really recommend you get one. It's a shameless plug. And I'll leave you with this final thought. If you want to know where you're going to be in 5, 10, 15 years, look at the actions and activities you're taking right now, because that's going to determine where you're going to be. And if you don't like what that trajectory looks like for you, then you have the power within you right now to change your activities and your actions to change your destination. So we'll see you next week on the new time and place. I hope you've all enjoyed that. Like, share, get this out there for us if you would. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you all soon. Take care.